man. Also, look at your rim. Look at your in my whole life since I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Even when I forget a lot of those, I say, I have never snitched on nobody. I've never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel.
I stand on business.
I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga.
His probation officer already knew where he was at. From what the victims could hear, Williams Jr. was informed that that wasn't the case and that he needed to return immediately. Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Williams Jr. was on house arrest.
To make us, nigga, conspiracy to possess firearms in front of the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga. 3 other solid niggas you will ever see, nigga, name on a piece of paperwork, nigga. Bankroll, D-roll, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga.
Why do that
we
matter,
kept it G.
bro?
We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga.
Pooh Shiesty has just robbed his CEO, Gucci Mane. And we watched the video, like, probably at the beginning of the year, where he was saying Pooh Shiesty was mad at Gucci Mane because he wasn't helping him in prison. And his cousin Big Scar died, and Gucci Mane took his 1017 chain back. I think some of these rappers don't realize that your rap name and your real government name, two totally different things. Matter of fact, hold on. I got my Shiesty on because they said it's Shiesty season, but Shiesty season ending. It's finna be warm out, so now you got to show your face. You got to start getting them haircuts and shit again. Because if you're wearing a Shiesty in the middle of the summer, then people coming to get you. So about that time of the year, it's time for y'all to lock in, bro. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and we're going to go ahead and get straight into this video ski.
Nobody wins when the family feels.
Pineapple snap.
Life like a movie, I'm
Family really
child
feels.
in 17 months, I done turned to a rapper. Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man.
Music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up
situation. I don't like it for either side. You know what I'm talking about? Guwap most definitely didn't deserve that, and I don't want to see this for the little homie Pooh Shiesty, but this one niggas got to be educated and understand. In business, you got to negotiate, my nigga. You got to negotiate. If you were signed for $100K and now you got 10 M's on the table, it's time to negotiate. This how we do this. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody win. Let's go. That's how I got to go, my nigga. You can't muscle your way out of no shit and no business. It don't go that way. And I ain't just talking about on the people's side, but on the other side, the blitz gonna come. You can't run from it, homie. That's the way it goes.
But this is Rick Ross explains the Pooh Shiesty situation perfectly. Like, bro, you might as well throw that Shiesty away because it literally is. It's not like F the streets because people don't do stuff. It's like, bro, the streets literally dead. These folks, you make too much money with this damn ski mask on, you better throw it away. Because now you got to talk business. And he got a Gucci Mane is in front of him. He probably respect Gucci Mane to an extent to sign to him. But to have no conflict resolution, hey, let's fix it. Matter of fact, I need them 10 M's off you. Like, you can't do that no more, Shiesty. What the hell?
Negotiate. It's time to educate. I want to see young hustlers from the South win. I want to see it. There was a time I got Gotti and Guwap on the phone together. Us 3 on the phone, nigga. And it ain't nothing to discuss. It was no disrespect. It was no raised voices. Rose just wanted to plant that seed. And I understand one phone call may not fix all the situations, but you want to plant that seed where niggas may be able to move forward one day, get some paper one day. The CMG 1017 tour one day, that was Rose mindset.
This really lasts forever.
And I wish nothing but my homies the best. When it come to business, let's negotiate. Niggas can't take the streets to the do. Nigga gonna get a life sentence with that shit, bullshit, nigga.
It's crazy, Cause what if I told you one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Memphis had everything most artists dreamed of? Millions of dollars, a major cosign from Gucci, and a CEO standing behind him who helped him turn himself into a millionaire.
Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man. So look at your rim. Look at your rim.
The whole time I'm a snake.
Give me a line. Get my other phone here.
The whole time I'm a snake.
Here, get my other phone, man. What they would do here, bro? Give me right, man. Slime mobile for my guy, man. Happy birthday.
But instead of protecting that opportunity, prosecutors say the situation will spiral into allegations of a robbery, a false contract, and eventually a federal case. And over the last couple of days, new developments and paperwork connected to the situation has started resurfacing, including documents tied to Pooh Shiesty's father, paperwork that was originally supposed to be sealed, but eventually became public that the family TV was able to get, which we'll later break down. And once you start reading through that, a lot of people begin asking a serious question. Was this really a robbery? Like the internet has been saying, or was this a contract dispute that escalated into something much bigger? Because when you actually look at the details, the jury people claim Gucci Man was robbed for doesn't appear to matter.
This nigga here is insane, bro. You rob a multi-millionaire and then you go post it on the gram. And he got, you could tell he got it by stealing. He got it on accident, because who works hard to get these things and gets on there and he ducking like he posting on social media like he about to catch a case. This nigga crazy.
Anything present in evidence. And even more interesting, the night didn't just involve rappers. According to reports inside that glass studio office where everything allegedly went down, there were 2 off-duty officers and an informant present that most people don't know about, meaning some would argue 3 connected to law enforcement inside that room where the situation unfolded, not to mention no camera. So now the story people thought they understood suddenly looks a lot different. Fam, listen, you know a couple days ago we did a story talking about Pooh Shiesty's father and his documented criminal history. We didn't speak on the sentencing because that information was blocked from public view. But what the family TV was able to obtain was the plea agreement tied to their case. Paperwork that, according to records, was supposed to remain sealed. And once that information started circulating again, people began looking at the bigger picture. Because when you line the history up with the situation involving Gucci Man, a lot of questions start coming up. For the last couple of days, the internet narrative has been simple. People saying Gucci Man has been robbed. They saying chains were taken, rings were taken, watches were taken, and most of all, he told. But when you actually go through the paperwork and the evidence that's been presented publicly, that claim started getting shaky because the jury shown doesn't appear to be Gucci Man's jury at all. Instead, what prosecutors describe much more clearly is a contract dispute that escalated. A situation where multiple individuals allegedly traveled from Memphis to Texas over business. And that federal complaint shows just that. During that situation, prosecutors say a contract ended up being forced to be signed. Now think about that for a second. Nowhere in this complaint it said Gucci Man or RD said his blank 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 was taken. But think about this. If you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and someone forces you to sign a contract under pressure, legally speaking, that contract doesn't hold up, which raises a bigger question. If you were Gucci Man in that situation, what would you do? But before we go over this...
No, like, what are you supposed to do? You change this man's life, give him a deal where he has 8 figures on the table, and he just robs you while you're not even with a bunch of street people. He probably trusts Pooh Shiesty so much. He has his personal people. He got all types of people who live an entirely different lifestyle with him. And you go, matter of fact, I'm robbing your ass too. Do you think Gucci Mane is the one who has to snitch on you? You own 4K camera. What you think finna happen, gang? Like, and how is, and even then, Gucci Man should snitch on his ass. I'm supposed to lose $15 million because I'm too street for this lifetime. Yeah, gangster, like his ass not supposed to talk to the police. He's supposed to lose those $15 million and take that L. That nigga says as he doesn't tip the barber as he leaves the barbershop. You gotta watch that nigga, bro. I'm telling you. He shot. Matter of fact, with my Shiesty, bro. They acting like I ain't. All right, stop playing with me, bro.
I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it.
There ain't a lot of people to come to me with that in my whole life since I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Even when I forget a lot of them, sometimes say, I have never snitched nobody. I never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel.
I stand on business.
I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga. Where we from, we won't do that. For real. This East Carolina Zone 6. Well, niggas I fuck with my crew, we won't do that. We won't snitch on niggas. We stand down for ourselves. Like, if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on a nigga to save my nobody's life. Not even my own. I die.
What?
If I snitch on niggas.
Okay. So Gucci Mane changes his life after he goes to prison a bunch of times, after he shoots a couple niggas. It took him 30 years. In hindsight, he probably see this video and like, damn, I said that shit. That shit's dumb as hell. I ain't trying to die. Oh, Gucci, what up? I'm not giving that shit up. And that's what a bunch of people who couldn't be in your position would say. Like, man, at least he went out like a G. He ain't died. I mean, he just died with his M's, but he ain't snitch on a nigga, and he ain't run his pocket. So I guess he top savage. Matter of fact, put my ski mask in. You get what I'm saying? No, this is crazy, bro. But I think this is why Gucci Mane's so good at signing these type of artists, right? It's like, bro, you got to come from a certain type of darkness to see a nigga energy. That he got a real charismatic dark energy. I know how much negativity could come from this. They got me with this. It's my turn to get them M's. Huh. Okay.
Fam, that was early 2000s Gucci Mane. A man who been through many scenarios to tell, but he didn't. A man who now, 20 years later after that interview alone, still got 1017 to be relevant. Now full-time CEO who rap occasionally. Fast forward to 2026, in a contract dispute with one of the biggest artists in the world, who some say went about things that's similar to Suge Knight and Eazy-E. Now before we go over that federal complaint in its entirety together, I want us to go back some years prior during the pandemic, towards the end. In 2020, when Gucci Mane had signed Pooh Shiesty, another well-known artist he had signed was Fujiano and Big Scar. Together they dropped music under the new 1017 and gained millions of views each track.
Yeah, they said it was Big Scar and that other video a few months ago.
Looking back, you ask, what if? Pooh Shiesty, Fujiano, and Big Scar, all three were stars. But unfortunately, when Pooh Shiesty got arrested in 2021, Big Scar, real name Alexander Woods, unfortunately lost his life on December 22nd, 2022, at just 22 years old from an accidental prescription drug overdose at his girlfriend's house. His family reported the overdose involved prescription pills, and the Memphis Police Department confirmed there were no signs of foul play. May he rest in peace. A love of condolences to his family. But after that situation, things didn't really turn out how the family had expected, because it seemed Gucci Mane and his team had some type of fallout with Big Scar's family. It was alleged that Gucci Mane wanted Big Scar's chains back and only gave $10,000 for the funeral. I'll let you decide if that was enough or not. But listen to Big Scar's sister voice her opinion on the situation. And I bring this up because some say this may have led to why Pooh Shiesty wanted to stir away from Gucci Mane. Not saying it's true, but it is a fact that these things happen. Mind you, Big Scar's Pooh Shiesty blood's cousin.
This 10K went to a flower. This flower was high as fuck. We still got a casket. He getting cremated. He getting put up in a museum. Bitches. The bitches would not be able to walk on my brother's grave. He ain't getting put in no ground. He ain't getting buried with no chains.
Okay.
He not getting no chains back. Period. At the end of the day. Fuck them receipts that Annabelle uploaded. Fuck Annabelle. And them receipts. Like I said, we only received 10,000.
Oh, this really Memphis.
What the other 10 is, I don't know. But yeah.
You know, these folks.
Yeah. I'm at work with my feet up, making boxes. That 10K ain't did shit but buy obituaries and flowers, boo. This shit ain't here with no obituaries and flowers, boo. 10K ain't shit. My brother was way more worth, baby, my brother worth more than 10K. You bitches can.
I mean, shit, a life insurance policy for Gucci Mane, honestly.
Quit playing with me.
You did. Gucci Mane did what boss would do for you. It ain't family, it's love. This now, you not my family. I got a real family right now.
Yeah, Gucci's son 10,000, and it was a
taking the chains back, I think, is pushing this song.
So it was 20,000 and all.
But he doing business.
Now another situation that happened is when Pooh Shiesty was free. A comment Gucci had wrote in response to Big 30, 375-1017. Gucci Mane responds, Cap, stop posting me, dude. We met once. Either way, they made up. Gucci Mane and Big 30 had their music together after that.
Like TLC, 223 shells out the Jeep. No one gonna take care of me the way that I take care of me.
That's why some say the Big Scar situation is more believable, because prior to the robbery in January, Pooh Shiesty was posting a lot of Big Scar in his story, reminiscing. Some say now, looking back, may have been sending clues. Now another person people are pointing out before we get into this federal complaint once again is Pooh Shiesty's dad, Lontrell Williams Sr. Now we're not going to go over the situation that happened in 2004 with the DJ, because we talked about it in the first video. I'll leave the link in the bio, like I said once again. But we are going to go over his plea agreement in that case, and why he only served 2 days for that case, which was for a murder and an R, according to what prosecutors say, fueled by his animosity towards the DJ for not playing his music, instead playing Yo Gotti's music, allegedly. Now during this time, Pooh Shiesty's dad did get arrested, but because his homie went to trial and he wasn't placed there, they couldn't charge him with the murder. They did charge him with the drugs that were seized at the time of his arrest. And during that time, even though it wasn't murder, he still agreed to be an informant for the feds. Now fam, before we move forward with the rest of this story, we gotta slow down and really break down something that most people skim over when they look at federal paperwork. Because buried inside a plea agreement is something that changes the entire conversation, and that's a potential 5K1 one motion. Now if you've ever dealt with the federal system, a 5K1 might just look like another number in a document, but in federal world, that number means everything. Let me break it down.
Look, just be a nice law-abiding citizen, and you don't gotta snitch on nobody. Because you're not hanging around people who get in situations to snitch. I don't know, bro. I think low-key, street folks probably snitched. They probably snitching the most, because I'm not going to run into police that often. Most people who actually doing the right things not going to overly run into the police. But a real street nigga, bro, come on, bro. Let's be 100, bro. Them niggas finna see them people a lot of times at a lot of different stages of life. What you mean you couldn't get right and you been in and out of jail 20 times, nigga? Stay away from me, okay?
First off, the defendant in this case, Lontrell Williams Sr., agreed to plead guilty to multiple counts involving federal drug conspiracy laws. Those are serious charges that typically carry heavy federal prison sentences. We're talking about charges that can easily land 10, 20 years, sometimes even life, depending on the circumstances. But right after the plea selection, the agreement introduced something very important. It says the government may recommend a reduction in his sentence under United States Sentencing Guidelines 5K1. What does that mean? In simple terms, a 5K1 is a cooperation deal. It means that the defendant has agreed to provide substantial assistance to the federal government, and that assistance usually involves helping prosecutors build a case against other individuals. Now, that help can come from several forms. Sometimes it means providing detailed information about drug operations, suppliers, or co-conspirators. Sometimes it means helping investigators understand how a criminal organization operates, who is involved, where the drugs are coming from, and where the money is going. Other times it means actually testifying in court or in front of a grand jury against other people involved in a conspiracy. And in some situations, even help investigators make recorded calls identifying other suspects or confirming evidence investigators already have. But here's the key part most people miss. The plea agreement makes it clear that none of this guarantees a sentence reduction. The document literally says the decision is solely within the discretion of the government. In other words, prosecutors are the ones who decide whether the cooperation was valuable enough to be rewarded. And if they believe the defendant provided real help that actually led something that leads to investigations or prosecutions, then they can file a motion asking the judge to reduce the sentence. That's what a 5K1 is. And looking back, he got 4 years of supervised release. And that was it.
Oh,
So
he ain't get
apparently,
nothing.
they felt his information was enough
He
to
was
get a
very
reduced sentence. And the feds, this is what they call black and white, proving if a person is an informant or not. And this what we
Y'all
can
ain't tell me it was
call,
a paperwork
quote unquote,
party.
being a snitch, if you living by that. So let's continue with the story. Fast forward to the first week of April of 2026. Senior had a bond hearing for the federal pickup alongside his son and other 8 alleged CG members. Shiesty got one on the 8th. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But now at this point, people want to know. We got all that squared away. What about Gucci Mane?
Y'all gotta stop saying Pooh Shiesty Day coming up. Say his government name. Cause Gucci Mane is Pooh Shiesty. So Pooh Shiesty going up right now, which means Gucci Mane getting even more rich. Lontrell Wright is going to court on the 8th. We gotta stop mixing this up, cause these folks think that being a rapper and then getting signed is not signing away the rap name that you just got. And then you start living a lifestyle that's making, this time you can see it in person, because what happens is, he see Gucci Mane, I could just rob this nigga. If he would have saw the label executive of Sony, he would have, I guess I'm going to have to figure out a contract. Why we do our people like this? You know what I'm saying, though? Like, you crash yourself out instead of spreading the wealth. That shit crazy to me, folks.
Let's go over this criminal complaint in its entirety. I waited some time before dropping in the morning to see if the feds would actually drop the indictment. Now, I'm sure Pooh Shiesty didn't ever know his father was a federal informant, which is crazy because hours before the robbery with Gucci Mane, he allegedly went to Instagram and talked about his paperwork spoke on standing on business on not being an informant, which would make sense. Some would say that's why he was allowed by his dad to do that to someone help his son become a millionaire, despite how we feel about his contract.
It was an indictment, so we got indicted twice, nigga, so they smacked us with more charges, nigga, thinking that shit would break us or make us, nigga. Conspiracy to possess firearms in front of the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga. 3 other solid niggas you will ever see, nigga, name on a piece of paperwork, nigga. Bankroll, D-roll, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga.
Why do that
we
matter,
G,
bro?
We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga. Now,
somebody just got energized, like, yeah, bro, this nigga just put his life in the hands of them folks in black and white for a life sentence and ain't learned his lesson. He got on the gram and popped it on us. Yo, bitch ass ain't never faced life. Like, what? Dang. Matter of fact, where my shiesty at? I'm kind of nervous. I swear to God, bro. Like, I can't play these games, bro. That's why we got to throw these shiesties away, bro. Like, this nigga really got a life sentence. He wearing the same shiesty as me? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. He beat it and then said, fuck it, I'll go back. Literally, fuck it, I'll go back.
told it, never folded, nigga. All my shit add up, nigga. Yeah, nigga, every page add up. You see 1 through 10 on anything. Stop playing with a nigga name, nigga made, nigga, for real. You niggas don't know the half of this shit or what's really going on, nigga. Yeah, my paperwork 4,000 pages long.
I know you
I
want to
go
be
all
like
day with this shit. You niggas don't know what really going on. You know what you see on the internet.
As of now, they haven't. Now, looking back at the situation that took place on January 10th, 2026,
what he did,
as mentioned, just weeks after FDO is charting #1. It seemed like before, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, even though they didn't come out publicly, wasn't on no terms. But you have damn near 2 feds in there. One was a federal informant in Pooh Shiesty dad, and Gucci Mane security, who's even an ex-officer or was an off-duty officer at the time of this incident. Now, fam, with this complaint, we're not going to paraphrase. We're going to have to read in its entirety because it tells us what the eyewitness is. It also told us who the initial conversation, what happened. But I want to point out something. Now, according to these blogs, these people not only stole Gucci Mane one of his wedding rings or bands, one of Gucci Mane's watch, one of Gucci Mane pendants. The Gucci Mane went on Big Facts a couple months ago.
He stole his watch and so he did steal his watch and all. Bro, he literally stripped Gucci Mane gang in front of the police. I know some niggas never coming home.
But I want to point out something. Now, according to these blogs, These people not only stole Gucci Mane one of his wedding rings or bands, one of Gucci Mane's watch, one of Gucci Mane pendants. The Gucci Mane went on Big Facts a couple months ago before Pooh Shiesty came home and was excited and talked about how he don't come out with at least an M on.
Listen, everything I buy be $1 million now.
Right.
The watch gonna be $1 million. The chain got to be $1 million. The rings got to be $1 million. If I would brought my other rings on here, y'all couldn't even see.
At least a M.
Yeah. I couldn't even see.
He made it where he wanted to go.
None of these pieces looks like Gucci Mane pieces. I found my stand correct. It was down there 3 officers in there, at least 2 technically. They say at around 1 p.m. on January 10, 2026, the victims flew into Dallas, Texas alongside RD's head of security, hereinafter referred to as CW, and other security officers hereinafter referred to as TD, for a scheduled business meeting between RD and suspected Williams Jr., who we all now assume RD means Radrick Davis, for Gucci Mane, and Pooh Shiesty for Williams Jr. They say Pooh Shiesty wanted to talk to Gucci Mane or Radrick Davis or RD about his contract and wished to be released. He said around 1:45, CW and TD, the 2 officers and the victims, arrived at the scheduled meeting location, a music recording studio located within a larger office building. When CW and TD and the victims entered the office building, they realized the recording studio, owned by an individual hereinafter referred to as JN, was closed. So when they got there, they realized the studio was closed, and they talked to JN, who confirmed it. While they waited for the studio to open, the 5 went to a liquor store and purchased liquor in plastic red Solo cups before returning to the studio. Williams Jr. father, Williams Sr., called JN multiple times on the day of the meeting, which was the owner of the studio. At around 2:53, JN answered the phone and learned that Williams Sr. was attempting to book the recording studio that afternoon for Williams Jr. and RD to record music. At or around 3:15 p.m., JN opened the music studio for RD, MM, BP, CW, and TD. So, according to Pooh Shiesty's dad, they went there to try to do music, assuming it could have went down outside the studio as well. Investigators later collected and reviewed surveillance video captured at another business located at the same office building on the same floor as the recording studio, which shows Williams Sr. outside the office building. At around 3:27 p.m. on January 10, 2026, it appears that he was speaking to someone on his cell phone before entering the building at 3:28. At around 3:39, an employee of the studio arrived to assist with production. When the employee arrived, Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. were standing at the back door of the office building, engaged in what appears to be an argument over the phone. At around 3:43, Williams Jr. and Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waiters, Roger, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Wright, also known as hip-hop artist Big 30. The 9 individuals entered the studio control room, where inside, victims were watching a football game. CW was positioned in the studio lobby, while TD remained in the vehicle they arrived in. Depicted below are photographs of the studio lobby. The police claim the victims overheard Williams Jr. talking on a cell phone, potentially with a probation officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. So Pooh Shiesty knew. His probation officer already knew where he was at. From what the victims could hear, Williams Jr. was informed that that wasn't the case and that he needed to return immediately. Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Williams Jr. was on house arrest. RD told Williams Jr. they could reschedule the studio session, but Williams Jr. requested to speak with RD privately in the attached recording room. RD agreed and entered the recording room with Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright. Meantime, BP remained in the control room with the 6 other individuals and continued to watch the football game. BP offered to share the liquor they purchased with the targeted suspects, and at least 2 accepted, grabbing red cups and making a drink, assuming they all was cool and incoherent, fam. Inside the control room, Williams Jr. produced purported contract terminations or release papers from a bag and told RD to sign them. When RD declined, Williams Jr. became agitated and the pair started to argue. So it wasn't a robbery.
Let me out that contract, nigga.
MM and BP could see inside the recording studio initially believed RD and Williams to be discussing business. But as MM saw the conversation intensify, he texted CW, who was still in the music studio's lobby. As the argument inside the recording room ensued, Williams Jr. instructed Wright to get the bag. Wright complied, leaving the recording room before returning with the bag, which is Big 30. Williams Jr. then pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at RD, demanding again that RD sign the contractual release paperwork. RD complied, signed the paperwork for Williams Jr., while Williams Sr. and Wright stood by RD. RD couldn't leave the room. But here's how police got that evidence.
So Pooh Shiesty actually, he not Shiesty. We gotta stop Shiesty. This is slow. So you're telling me he gets on the phone, off the phone with his probation officer, meets up with the multi-million-dollar Gucci Mane, let me out this contract, grabs Drake, 30 pass me that Drake, just like the song, robs him, walks out with his Shiesty on, calls his PO like, hey, I'm on the way back. I know I'm on the band. I'm going to be on my way back home now. Bro, do niggas really think that life is GTA, bro? What did 2020 do to this nigga? He must have... He went to prison in 2020. His brain was still stuck there. He thought that the police wasn't doing their job still. He thought the feds wasn't working again. What? All right, bro. This shit don't even make no sense, guys.
They claim Big 30 pulled out a cell phone and recorded RD signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Pooh Shiesty from their contract. After the release was signed, Williams Jr. took RD wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. According to that recording, after RD signed the contractual release paperwork, Williams Jr. provided the paperwork to Williams Sr. and asked if the paperwork was good. Williams Sr. advised that the paperwork needed to be dated, so Williams Jr. then forced RD to add the date next to his name. As RD, Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright exited the recording studio, the remaining subjects, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, produced handguns or AK-style pistols and began demanding property from BP and MM. BP was pushed into the couch in the control room, while the individual known as BP as CMO Dan Fu, and part of Williams Jr. and crew, later identified as Roger, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and necklace, bearing the moniker 1017, were stolen from the neck, and another subject he knew as Glizzy 375, later identified as McDaniel during a robbery. McDaniel repeatedly threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. BP further identified an individual he knew as Baby Slime 375, later identified as Johnson, as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, Johnson possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both MM and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as Waters, and BP identified an individual they knew.
Folks got that shit on. What you talking about? He just got a white t-shirt and a Draco. And about $531. He got a $1 bill in there. What the hell they got going on, bro? No, this is too slimy for me. Where my ski mask again? Hell no. These niggas is... I don't know. What's wrong with them?
As KD, later identified as Waters, also being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, possessing a firearm and holding them at gunpoint. MM and BP identified them. MM was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist below. MM was robbed from his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple other high-dollar watches, Apple AirPod headphones, and his wallet at gunpoint. MM confirmed the Louis Vuitton bag, AirPods, and wallet each had Apple AirTags on them, a location tracking device. As the altercation inside the control room ensued, Wright walked over to the studio door to the lobby, closed it, and blocked it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. CW and TD, the victim's security guard, watched Wright barricade the door and attempt to force their way into the control room, but were prevented from entering. With handguns drawn by CW and TD, managed to particularly open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered. They said RD was pushed into the couch in the control room, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of the firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance footage, the targeted suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at around 4:48 p.m. Exterior surveillance video recovered from a neighborhood building showed a white Buick Enclave and a black Dodge Charger Hellcat and a black Dodge Ram within distant road affixed to the bed of the truck traveling northbound shortly after the kidnapping and robbery. According to law enforcement database, Wright father, also known as Rodney Wright, owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat bearing Tennessee license plates, which was shown on camera at around 2:18 in Dallas, Fort Worth. So it's clear as day. The information that was given thus far was from the officers who was with Gucci, who saw everything from outside the room. I'm a parent because it was glass doors or glass windows or glass walls, but couldn't get in because guns was drawn on them. Now apparently Big 30 and the homies he was staying with stayed at a Comfort Inn. They end up stealing a black Dodge Charger Hellcat from that Comfort Inn on January 11, 2026. In return, they got all they surveillance footage in and outside the hotel. And that's what you see. They ain't coming at. They know about the alleged robbery based on what the police saying they saw. And on Big 30 recording. But when it came to identifying the target suspects, they say MMBP and RD all personally knew Williams Jr. by both his legal name and a name under him, which he performs, Pooh Shiesty. Tag this Instagram account. They say JRMM and RD describe Williams Jr. as wearing a black Nike brand Shiesty mask, black hooded shirt, and black pants during the offense. An online search of Williams Jr. matched the individual depicted throughout Pooh Shiesty. Here's that photo. They identified Pooh Shiesty during the offense. The victims identified senior Instagram account Montabs, Global, MMBP, and RD all identified Wright as a well-known hip-hop artist known as Big 30. MM and RD identify his Instagram account as CEO Big 30, which is verified by Instagram. MM and BP identified Katie. BP identified Dan Fool. MM identified Gluck, who had this Rolex and this 1017 check. By the way, Rogers was just arrested. He was the one with this Rolex. BP identified Baby Slime. I'm saying you knew Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 after it was forced to contract. We can all just assume that was Reggie Davis. That's one thing. But telling the police they robbed you is another. Because police told us at the very end on page 30 of 32 pages on who identified Lontrell Williams Jr. And when they were speaking on him, they spoke on RD in third person. It said eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into a recording studio and demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. Eyewitness accounts also place Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnappings and robberies of MM and BP occurred. Cell phone records, electronic locations, monitoring, and surveillance footage place Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination contract prior to arriving at the offense location. Eyewitness accounts and state when it came to Senior, they saw him in the studio when the offenses occurred. Williams Senior assisted Williams Jr. in producing RD's signature on the purported contract release. Surveillance footage from the day of the office shows Williams Senior entering the building, unmasked, and later exiting the building carrying a backpack which he believed he did not enter. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts place Williams Sr. at the offense location following the offense wearing similar clothing to what the suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. No other information about the jury type, the video released, or exactly what was took from Gucci Mane. Only what the feds could recover. Guess y'all take that from there. Since then, Big 30 attorney has spoken and said the following.
He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, you know, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
That was a bad video recording they had.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is a scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turman.
He doesn't have a criminal history. He doesn't have a criminal record.
Man, stop it, man. I know a lot of niggas who ain't get caught. If you a good one, you ain't gonna get caught around this bitch.
FBI agents raided Williams Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people...
They done, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is some of the most blatant crashing out, self-snitching, savageism. Is that a new word? Is that a word? Savageism. These niggas is too real for this life, bro. You know what they do to the niggas who too real for this life? They lock them in the prison. You better find balance out here in this lifetime. Them shiesties, I gotta throw my shiesty away now, gang. I guess it's not cool to go federal no more. Cause like when you first get free from the feds, they gonna rock with you. But if you go fed too many times, it's like, I guess we could just live long, illustrious lives and get careers and travel the world and do these other things over crashing out, wearing shiesties on the block, counting pennies, eating fried food, popping niggas in our shiesties, or robbing niggas who got more than us in our shiesties. I don't know. Because it seems like if you live a shiesty, it's like a lifestyle. Like, you could have 10 million, but shit, I may need to rob that nigga with 100 M's. It's like a mindset. But I make some money. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. But if y'all don't do none of those things, family, I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.